Good day everyone, I am Princess Iris Monte and today we will discuss about the chapter 6 of the life and works of Rizal entitled Liberalism and Martyrdom. First, let's discuss about the Spanish Revolution. In 1868, a revolution broke out in Spain in defiance against the oppressive reign of Queen Isabella II. This was staged and led by two of her marshals, Francisco Serrano and Juan Prim. The Spanish people called it as La Gloriosa or Glorious Revolution. Queen Isabel II was the Queen of Spain from 1833 until she was ousted in 1868. The cause of this revolution is the lack of political stability since her reign was dominated by military politicians instead of her. Aside from that, corruption and economic problems are also in the picture. These factors created liberal and progressive pressures advocating for political reforms such as constitutional changes. Because of that, Queen Isabel II was overthrown and was exiled in France where she resided until her death. So what is the connection of this in the Philippines? Because of the La Gloriosa, liberal reforms was introduced not only to Spain but to its colonies as well. Due to this, a new Governor General was appointed in the Philippines and his name is Carlos Maria de la Torre. Now, let's move on to De la Torre and liberalism. Carlos Maria de la Torre y Navacerrada was a Spanish soldier and politician. He served as the Governor General of the Philippines from 1869 to 1871 and is considered as one of the most beloved Spanish governors general assigned to the Philippines. De la Torre was considered as the best and beloved Governor-General the Philippines ever had. He established Guardia Civil for the safety of the common people, even the Indios are protected. He limited the secularization in education, meaning limitation of religious activities in public education. He also abolished flogging, which is a type of punishment where a person is repeatedly whipped by a stick. So he also became close to the Ilustrados. However, in 1871, he was ousted when the monarchy of Spain was re-established, and that ended his 3-year rule that started in 1869. So here are the other deeds of De la Torre. First is the Philippinization of parishes, the handing down of parishes to secular priests once the missionaries are transferred to new assignments. Second is the abolition of polo in Cavite, which affected the agricultural economy of the province and the people themselves. Third is the lifting of heavy taxes to native military servicemen and other reforms in the army. Fourth is the Education Decree of 1869 which placed all school under government supervision. This gave way for many natives to have their children to go to college and university. And lastly, the creation of the Guardia Civil which was truly intended for the protection of civilians from bandits, pirates, and ordinary criminals. Now, let's proceed to the formation of Gomburza. Gomburza, Gom meaning Gomez, Bur meaning Burgos, and Za for Zamora refers to the three Filipino Catholic priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, who were the priests that fought for the secularization of parishes and were nationalists during the Spanish colonization here in the Philippines. Padre Pedro Pelaez pioneers the secularization of parishes in the Philippines. It is to give opportunities for Filipino priests to occupy parishes because ever since the start of the colonization, only friars or Spanish priests are allowed to occupy parishes, and that led to the horrible amount of abuse to our natives. However, in 1863, unfortunately, Father Pedro Pelaez died due to earthquake in Manila Cathedral. After his death, his follower Padre Jose Burgos took his place to continue the secularization movement, and it was strengthened under the rule of the Governor General de la Torre because it happened during that time. Along with Padre Burgos, Padre Mariano Gomez, and Padre Jacinto Zamora fought for this movement, and that formed the Triad. A reversal of fortune and the restoration of terror. The founding of the Republic in Spain created issues that would take the Philippines back to the old ways. Military rule was restored to the Philippines as a new Governor General Rafael Izquierdo arrived to replace De la Torre. In 1870, a new king was allowed to the throne in Spain because of the Republican group. He is Amadeo of Savoy, and according to them, Spain cannot be Spain without the traditional monarch, and that liberalism should only be confined in Spain and not in its colonies, and that made the Philippines to go back to the old ways. Military rule and law was also restored in the Philippines as the new king or new general that replaced De la Torre, which is General Rafael Izquierdo, implemented harsher laws such as manual labor, extreme taxes specifically to the soldiers, and in simpler words, he reversed all of the reforms of the previous Governor General, and he vows to erase from Filipino minds the dream of liberalism and independence. This has been going on until it led to the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Now, let's see what happened in the Cavite Mutiny. On January 20, 1872, estimated 200 troops consist of soldiers and civilians held an uprising to the Spanish government with the hope of having political and social reforms because the abuse is too much under the rule of Governor General Izquierda. They planned to attack Intramuros since it was the Spanish authorities' camp and was extremely militarized. However, the Cavite Mutiny failed because of the Fiesta fireworks display in one of the towns in Manila, as they mistook it as a signal from their co-mutineers in Manila to start the rebellion. As a result, the mutiny was unsuccessful because there are no reinforcement came and they can't defeat the Spaniards with only few soldiers on their side. The Spanish authorities accused Padre Jose Burgos as the mastermind of the rebellion along with Padre Jacinto Zamora and Padre Mariano Gomez. Padre Burgos allegedly financed the Cavite Mutiny and the assassination of the current Governor General and was supported by the natives and the soldiers. On February 17, 1872, the Gomburza were executed through garrote, and others who were accused were either exiled or executed. So these are the other soldiers and natives that participated in the Cavite Mutiny. So now let's see how this is related to Pasiano Rizal. The older brother of Jose Rizal, Pasiano Rizal, who was then a student in Colegio de San Jose and was boarding with Padre Burgos, took the death of the padre or padres deep into his heart as he was a trusted assistant of Padre Burgos in the fight for secularization of parishes. After the execution of the three priests, he dropped out of college and returned to his family in Calamba. There, he told the heroic story of Padre Burgos and the other priests and the other participants of the Cavite Mutiny to his family. But his father, Don Francisco, told his son not to say anything about the incident for the sake of his own protection. If you have time, I suggest you all to watch the film Gomburza to know more about them and the Cavite Mutiny because most of the scenes there are historically accurate. Okay, so some of you might think that our topic for today is a bit far from our original topic, which is the life and works of Rizal, because we've been discussing about the Spanish Revolution and such. And some of you might wonder what is the relevance of these events to the life of Jose Rizal. Well, Jose Rizal is the younger brother of Pasiano Rizal, so he's been hearing stories about the unjust death of Gomburza ever since he was a child. As he grew up, it deeply impacted his life and works. Their deaths fueled Pepe's nationalism and to continuously fight for our freedom. He used words to fight, and one of his novels, El Filibusterismo, were inspired by the three priests. His writings extensively discuss corruption, attributing it to friars and Spanish officials, and he passionately advocated for reforms because of the abuse that we have experienced under the Spanish colonization. His words awakened the hearts of our countrymen to fight for the Philippine independence. And that event eventually progressed to the Katipunan, which held another revolution against the Spanish colonization, and that we finally attain our freedom, our own independence. But that is another topic to discuss. So, to end our presentation, I have here a quotation. I have carefully weighed the virtues and the faults of the Filipino, and I have come to the conclusion that he is worth dying for. By Benigno Aquino. So, that is all, everyone. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from our discussion.